The sun was barely up, painting the sky over Willow Creek Farm with streaks of gold, when I heard the crunch of gravel under tires. I was hefting a sack of feed for my chickens, sweat already beading on my forehead, when a sleek SUV rolled up my drive. Out stepped a woman in pristine white sneakers, clutching a clipboard like it was a scepter. Let's call her Karen. She had this smirk, like she'd already won a game I didn't know I was playing. Two guys trailed her, one clutching a stack of papers, the other eyeing my goats like they might lunge. Karen waved a document and declared my old barn a weathered beauty my granddad built in '59 was an eyesore under some neighborhood rule I'd never heard of. I leaned on my shovel, squinting at her, and thought, "Saw, lady, you're barking up the wrong tree." Saw. My name's Emily Carter, 39, a single mom to my girl, Lily. Willow Creek's been my home since I left the Navy, the only place that's felt like mine after years of war zones and secrets. That barn, those chickens, the rickety fence older than Karen's gated community, my life, Lily's future, my anchor. But that crisp fall morning, as Karen rattled off violations like excessive rustic VYB and unpermitted livestock, I clocked two things fast. 1. My land wasn't even under her neighborhood association's thumb. 2. She had no clue I'd face down scarier threats than her neon pink notices. It started innocently enough. October air smelled like hay and promise. I was hauling feed when Karen strutted down my drive, her heels sinking into the mud. "Miss Carter," she snapped like I was a kid caught scribbling on a desk. "Your property's a blight on Crest VY EU's aesthetic standards." I wiped my brow and shot back. "Aesthetic standards? You mean my barn's too blue for your mood board?" She didn't crack a smile. Instead, she shoved a list at Marooster noise, unapproved fencing. Even my solar panels were too shiny. I crossed my arms. "Karen, this land's been free since before your association was a twinkle in some developer's eye." She smirked, holding up a yellow citation. "Oh, we annexed your lot last month. Check your mail." I hadn't seen any notice. The next day, a Dulaw 15,000 fine was nailed to my gate like a bad prank. I nearly spat out my coffee. I sped to the county clerk's office, heart hammering. The clerk, a kind woman named Martha, pulled my deed. "Emily," she said, "your land's untouchable. It predates their rules by decades." I left with a certified copy and a grin, but something gnawed at me. Karen wasn't sloppy, she was scheming, like she had a personal vendetta against my 40 acres. Word around town was Karen's husband was a real estate tycoon, and Crest VYEW had been gobbling up rural lots to churn into cookie-cutter mansions. My farm, prime land with rolling hills, was a wrench in their gears. But I wasn't just a farmer. Before I traded combat boots for overalls, I was Lieutenant Emily Carter, Navy Intelligence, running ops that never hit the headlines. I'd stare down warlords and red tape tougher than Karen. I wasn't about to let her bulldoze my home. I called an old Navy buddy, Tom, now a lawyer in D.C. He said, voice steady, "Give me the rundown." I spilled the fines, the annexation lie, Karen's smug face. "Sounds like she's overstepping," he said. "Document everything. I'll dig." That night, I dragged a dusty crate from behind the barn. Old surveillance gear from my Navy days, a directional mic, a thermal camera. Overkill? Maybe. But Karen was playing dirty, and I wasn't here playing nice. Things escalated fast. Two guys in Crest VYEW polos showed up, unrolling a measuring tape across my pasture, muttering about fence ratios. I strolled up, phone recording. "Lost or just trespassing?" The cocky one snapped. "We're authorized by the board." I smiled. "You're authorized by Karen, not the law." Scram. They bolted, but not before tossing a packet into my chicken coop. Another letter claiming my barn was structurally unsafe. I laughed, then checked county records. There was a rezoning application in Saw name, with Saw signature. Except I never signed it. I uploaded the file to a secure server and pinged an old contact. Rachel, a cyber forensics was from my unit. She traced it in minutes. "Edited on a Crest VYEW computer," she said. "User Karen T, 1970. My pulse raced. Karen wasn't just lying, she was forging legal documents. That night, I tucked a tiny audio recorder into a birdhouse across from the Crest VYEW clubhouse. Paranoid? Sure. But intel wins wars, and I was done playing defense. 2 days later, I hit gold. Karen's voice crackled through my headphones, smug as ever, laughing with her board. She's just a hick with goats, she sneered. By the time she fights the rezoning, we'll have permits to level that dump and pave a cul-de-sac. My blood boiled not at the insult, but at her gall, thinking she could erase my home, Lily's legacy, with a pen stroke. I saved the audio, labeled it Saw Checkmate Saw, and called Tom. I got her on tape, I said, and I think they're misusing federal grants for this land grab. He didn't hesitate. Send it. I'll loop in a HUD contact. The association didn't back off. They sent contractors to confiscate my chickens, calling them unregistered livestock. I let Lily open the coop gate. My rooster, Captain, led a feathered stampede, chasing those guys into the dirt. One tripped, feathers flying, and I couldn't stop laughing. I posted the VY Deo online. Caption Crest VYEW versus My Chickens. Round 1. It blew up Reddit, TikTok, even local news. Folks shared their own HOA nightmares, and suddenly, I wasn't alone. The real showdown came at their disciplinary hearing. Karen sat at a long table, flanked by her board, all glaring like I was a bug to squash. Emily Carter, she hissed, you've defamed our board and VY OLAT community standards. Comply or face expulsion. I walked to the front, slid a USB into the projector, and said, play Saw Operation Willow Freedom Saw. The room went dead quiet as Karen's voice filled it, bragging about forgery, demolition, and teaching that farmer a lesson. Gasps erupted. One board member bolted. Karen screamed, it's fake, but the neighbors weren't buying it. I turned to her. Oh, and HUD's auditing your grants. Good luck. The room exploded, people shouting, filming, demanding her resignation. I thought that was the end, but Karen had one last move. A week later, at midnight, my dogs woke me, barking like hell. I grabbed my thermal camera and caught her in the dark, sawing my irrigation line. I flicked on my flashlight, pinning her in the beam. Rough night, Karen, I said. She stammered, this isn't what it looks like. I held up the camera. It saw what it looks like. Sheriff's on speed dial. She ran, slipping in the mud, Leah VYing her saw behind. I handed the footage to the sheriff. By noon, Karen was arrested trespassing, vandalism, forgery. The judge threw the book at her. A Dulaw $40,000 fine, a year of community SARE VYC, and a lifetime ban from any board. HUD's audit gutted Crest VYEW, exposing years of grant fraud. My land was declared untouchable, forever free of their grip. Neighbors I'd never met brought pies, tools, even a faded Navy flag from a flea market. Lily and I repainted the barn a bold blue and hung that flag high. We threw a barbecue, old Navy buddies, locals, even the sheriff showed up. Tom clapped my shoulder. You didn't just win, Em. You rewrote their playbook. Standing under the stars that night, I thought about power, not the kind Karen chased, but the kind you build through grit and truth. My farm's still here, Lily's safe, and the community's tighter than ever. But I wonder, how many Karens are out there, bullying folks just trying to live free? And how many Emilists are ready to fight back? So, tell me, have you ever faced a tyrant hiding behind a clipboard or a badge? Did you fight, or did they break you? What's the shadiest thing an HOA or bullies try to pull on you? Drop your story below, hit that like button if you're Team Willow Creek, and subscribe to keep this fight alive. Let's hear it. Whose side are you on?